Oh, thank you for joining me today. I'm your host, Salt, and this is Cruising on Empty. So I thank you guys for joining me tonight. I know this video is a little bit late. Hold on 1 minute, guys. Sorry about that. So this video today is about the Toyota Supra. Okay, and basically we're going to start off with the A70 Supra. You guys can also check this video here I have on the bottom where I go more into depth on the Toyota Supra. So let's get into this video. So basically, the A70 Supra basically was right around the time when a lot of people were taking notice of the Toyota Supra because the Supra basically made it a name for itself from the beginning with their Supra A40. Okay, they've proven themselves in races. They've proven themselves as far as reliability goes. So were already making a name for themselves. So by the time the 870 came around, I mean, people were like, "Yo, this car is really doing some things here." You know what I mean? And let's see what this car is all about. So that's when the Supra, right around the time the Supra came into basically view. So basically, the car, the A70, is a nice car. It is in the tuner scene, but it's not as big as the A80. Now, let me just show you guys this slide here of the A70. So this is the A70, which was on the scene. Like I said, it was pretty big in the tuner circle, not as big as the A80, which I'll show you that in a minute. Very popular car, very fast, especially got the turbo, the twin turbo A70. So this basically was the first start of the JZ motor, which was this one here particularly was the one JZ motor. Okay, very nice car, very popular car. Everybody loved this car. I mean, it was a car that I remember was going up Camaros. I mean, if anybody knew Camaros back then, they were no joke. And it was beating some Camaros out there. It was beating some Mustangs out there. A lot of people, when they had these cars, they were souping them up. And at the time, these cars were souped up. Were having like 400, 500 horsepower. You know, back then, it wasn't really that common for a stock Mustang to have 500 horsepower. Okay, it wasn't common. So a lot of these cars were these A70s, or as they call them, Mach 3. They were basically sleeper cars. So you see this car pull up, and you don't really give it a first thought, much less as a second thought. You know. So you look at this car and you're like, man, whatever, bro. You know, you want to race, fine, let's race. Now realizing he got a little something extra. This is a sleeper car. And then when he beats the doors off, you're like, yo, what just happened? You know what I mean? So yeah, these cars, they were fun and they would take you by surprise, these cars. So that's what I gotta say about the A70. Let's go on to the next one. So the next one here is going to be the A80 or the Mach 4, as they call it, right? This is the Mach 4. Mach 4 Supra. This basically came on the scene and it just kind of like blew up. Because remember, you had the A70 and then you had, this was called the A80 or the Mach 4. So you had the Mach 3 and then they had the Mach 4. So because of the history of the Supra, and then when the A70 came on the scene, and people were using these for like street races and stuff, and they were just like destroying, cars. And I think this is kind of really the first era. The A70 was when people realized about the JZ motor and what you can really do with the JZ motor. So then A80 or the Mach 4 came on the scene, and that came with the 2 JZ motor, okay, twin turbo, and they were building these cars up. Some of them were like 1,000 to 2,000 horsepower when they were building these motors up. It was crazy. So you would see this car come on the scene, and you like, let's race, and you're thinking like, oh, well, this car, it's probably got like 300, maybe 500 horsepower. Now realizing this car got 1,000 horsepower, bro, or 2,000 horsepower, and this car taking off down the road, you know. So just with that alone, on the streets, it got a lot of credit on the streets because it made its bones, it made its name. Not to mention on the racing circuit, it made its name. So the A70s and A80s, they were like, what? People were surprised, like, yo, this is what Toyota is producing. Look at what Toyota's producing. The car was reliable. You can build these motors up, and they were amazing, absolutely amazing. These motors, okay. So as far as the tuner scene goes, really big on the tuner scene. And let's not forget, right around the A70 and A80 was right around the whole Japanese car explosion was starting to happen. And that's right around the time when you had the Nissan Z32, the what is it, the Mazda RX-7, the Acura NSX, big, really big. Don't forget, we can't forget the Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4. So this is right at a time where the Japanese cars were exploding on the scene. Not to forget that, guess what? This was right around the time when the first Fast and the Furious movie come out. I think I got one of them here. So yeah, this is the first, one of the first, I believe, movies with the Fast and Furious where the Mach 4 came out in, and it was a really big movie. It was a really big thing for them because not only was the resale value for the A70 and A80s strong, I think when this movie came out and when it became really popular, I think it kind of, my opinion, I think it basically kind of etched its name in stone, so to speak, because it was already popular. It already made its name for itself, but now it's like in a movie that's like so popular, and it's basically a franchise now where there are like just so many movies that came out after that. So just because of that alone, it just cemented its name. I mean, right now in 2023, this particular Supra, you look for this particular Supra, and even though it was out of production for like almost a decade now, a little bit more than a decade, this car, you're buying this car for $40,000. Some of them you're buying for $50,000. I've even seen some go for sale that were souped up, going for $100,000 and change. So that just tells you how popular this car became. I mean, when it was brand new, I think the car brand new was going for like 30 grand, maybe 40 grand. I think brand new, if I'm not mistaken. But just the fact that now with 2023, now you see some examples of the A80, which are like double, triple in price. And it's like, blows your mind. You know what I mean? The A70, if you find good examples of the A70, which is the Mach 3, which is in good condition with a turbo manual, some of them I've seen which were in like the 20s and $30,000 range. So they're also holding really good resale value, the good examples of them. So when I say that the Toyota Supras, they left a really good legacy, right? So you have all the way from the first, second, third, fourth, and fourth generation. So the third and fourth were basically the years where they were just taking everybody by surprise because nobody was really expecting that. Well, at least around the third generation. By the fourth generation, people kind of knew what to expect, and Toyota basically gave them what everybody was expecting and then more. So they gave you what they're expecting and more. So just that alone, just it cemented everybody's. It's cemented in everybody's heart. The Supra. So it left a really good legacy. Not to mention they had a tradition of the inline six, so they kept that tradition all the way up to the fourth generation, which you would have made an inline six. Okay, so by me saying that, hold on, let me look at my notes. Let me see if I covered that. Okay, super hang. Yeah, so basically, just with that alone, um, yeah, it just basically cemented in everybody's hearts as like the car to get. Now, granted, when the once the A70 was out, as time went on, people started to pull away from it because it was, it had to wait, and people were looking for something lighter. But when the A80 came around, or the Mach 4 came around, you know, the fans just started coming back, and it just, stayed in everybody's hearts. The 80. Now, I talk about the A70 and the A80 so good because I feel this is right around the era where Toyota basically, I feel, made their cars with pride because they knew that this was their car, this was their brand. Okay, they put their motor in, their tech in, so it was representing the pride of Toyota. You see what I'm saying? This was something that they made, they produced. Okay. Then when the fifth generation came along, which they call it the J29, if I'm not mistaken, right? The J29 came along. It was a nice looking car. I'll show you the J29. No. So this is the J29. Okay. So the J29 came along, and very good looking car. Very, very good looking car. I don't have anything bad to say on the way the J29 looks. My only gripe with it is that they put a BMW motor in it. And then they put BMW tech in it. If you look at the cockpit of the car, you can see all like BMW stuff inside the car, which confused me because I got the impression that Toyota was a company that had a lot of I guess pride. I want to say in their product, a lot of pride in their product, and it just seemed that this particular Japanese company going to a German company to acquire their inline six. Okay, I looked at it like for a while I didn't understand. And then after I spoke to other enthusiasts and other car people and people who were on the car scene, and I saw the interview with the man who was the head or chief engineer for the Supra, and this guy is the chief engineer. So he made the decision to say, let's go and get an inline six from BMW. Now, his rationale or his thought behind it was that guess what? From the start of the Supra, we've had an inline six. So he felt, well, let's keep the trend and keep an inline six in there. So we're gonna go to BMW because we don't want to actually produce an inline six for this car, only for this car. We don't want to do that. So we'll go to BMW, who already has inline six motors available, and then we'll go and put it in our car. We'll make that deal. But not only did they make a deal for the inline six, they have the BMW tech. And I'm like, why would you put BMW tech in your car, but then pass it off as Toyota tech? I mean, me personally, I can see that because I own a 7 Series BMW. So I can see, how you doing, Marilyn? So I can see that it's BMW tech. I just feel that if you are making a car and you have a lot of pride in what you're producing, why not put something that has your name on it? Why not put something that you guys stand behind? Now, I see that Toyota, which also has another company by the name of Lexus, right? They have motors for that. Now, I'm going to go through the motors they have, and I'm going to tell you what I feel, okay? Bear with me, guys. So now, for Toyota's brand, Lexus, right? For their Lexus RCF GT3, they have a 5.4 liter V8 that comes with that car, right? Then they have a Lexus RCF and a Lexus GSF, a Lexus ES, and a Lexus RC, which all come with a 5.0 V8, right? Hang with me. I'm getting somewhere with this. Now, their Lexus GS, Lexus IS, and the Lexus RC, and then their Toyota Avalon and Toyota Camry all come with a 3.5 V6, okay? So now getting back to the chief engineer, he wanted to go and put an inline six in the car, right? And his thing was that, hey, you know, for the Supras, we've always had inline six. I completely get that. But here's the thing. Ford Mustang, okay, they've had anywhere between 10 to 12 different motors in the car. Now, generally speaking, when you talk about a Ford Mustang, they come with 5.0 V8s, right? But over the years, they've changed it to different motors. That's why I'm telling you, they've had 10 to 12 different motors that weren't 5.0 V8s. Then you have the Porsche 911. They've also had 10 different engines over the years. Now, we all know the engines that they're known for in their Porsches, but over the years, they came with different displacements and different kinds of V6 motors, right? Okay. So now, with that being said, why couldn't the chief engineer say, you know what, we might not have an inline six to put in a Supra, but guess what? We have a V6. We have a V8. It would be different than what they normally put in the car, but guess what? It would have still been a Toyota brand, even if they would have got it from their Lexus division or from their Toyota warehouse. It would have still been their motor. You see what I'm saying? Now, people would have looked at it and said, well, you know what? Generally, they have a inline six, but you know what? For this generation, they put a V6 motor in it. Or for this generation, they put one of their V8 motors in it. Now, all the motors that I mentioned that Toyota has, whether for their Lexus or for their Toyotas, they've all been proven motors that they've used in their racing cars. So they're proven. They've been tested, okay? Now, I don't think there would have been anything wrong if they would have put one of their V6 motors in it or one of their V8 motors. It would have been definitely different than what they've done over the years, but it would have been surely interesting. And I would have definitely given Toyota more respect for doing that route than going the German route. Now, like I'm saying, I got nothing wrong with the Germans. They make good cars. They make good motors, but they're not even anywhere close as far as neighbors are concerned. I'm talking about Japan and Germany. Nowhere near each other. Okay. Now I understand that the Toyota, they went to Lotus in the beginning, in the early stages in the 80s, to go and have them produce a suspension system for one of their Supras. But with that, Toyota owned part of Lotus. They had stakes in Lotus. They had money invested in Lotus. So generally speaking, if a company owns part of that company, they're going to say, well, we're going to go get something from here. They own part of it. So I didn't see anything wrong with that. You see what I'm saying? At the time. Okay? There was nothing wrong with that. But Toyota doesn't own BMW. They own no part of BMW. BMW owns no part of Toyota. So you just basically went out of your way to go get a motor from them. Again, I don't understand the logic behind it, but I understand why they did it. I don't understand the logic behind it. Because, like I'm saying, they have their own motors. And one thing I will say about Toyota is good. Usually, whenever they have their SUVs or pickup trucks or cars, they thoroughly test them and they really put them through the ringer. They really trash them. They really beat on them. And they make sure that, guess what? If this car can stand up to the beating, it should have no problem standing up to a regular customer driving the car. Okay, so for that, I applaud Toyota because they thoroughly test their cars before they get to the public. So that's why Toyotas are proven to be reliable cars because they really put their vehicles through the paces to make sure that they can stand up to an everyday driving or everyday use. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I have an issue with the new Toyota. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with it as far as the outside goes. Toyota designed a beautiful body for the new Supra, the fifth generation Supra. Beautiful body. It's very beautiful. I just personally feel they ruined it by putting BMW technology in it and then a BMW motor in it. Okay, that's my personal opinion. Because when you get in the car, you see BMW iDrive system. Like I said, if you go and check out my full video, again, there's the link on the bottom. You will see exactly what I mean about that. Okay, and you see the BMW iDrive system in the car. You see the BMW buttons and everything. I mean, if you own a BMW, you'll understand what I mean. Because if you look at the other Toyota cars, they're not set up that way. So you can see that this one is completely different than all the other Toyotas and Lexus cars that Toyota has. And for you to design a car that's just so different, like I said, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being different, but when you stand out that much, like you're a sore fucking thumb, like, I mean, how do I give you props? How do I give you credit for being original? How do I give you credit for having your own individuality? I can't. You see what I'm saying? I can't. Because you're not individual. You see what I'm saying? Inside this Toyota looks like any other BMW that BMW produces. So this is why I frown on it. You see what I'm saying? Because would Toyota go and do that with their Lexus cars? No, they won't. Because they want to know that, guess what? We are different. There's nothing the same about us. But how can you look at that car and not say, hey, listen, there's nothing different about you guys? You're looking at this car and you're like, yeah, there's nothing different because you look just like a BMW on the inside. You might look like a Toyota on the outside, but you look like a BMW on the inside. You see what I mean? So for that reason, I'm like, I can't give you a pass, Toyota. I can't. And then the head designer for the Toyota Supra, bro, really? You kind of ruined it for me because you look at the body and the body's like, man, the body is so sexy, bro. It looks so good. But guess what? Got fucking it's BMW on the inside. It's BMW under the hood. So what I'm saying is that you gotta have your individuality on it. Okay, look at Rolls Royce. Okay, Rolls Royce is not a German brand; it's a British brand. A German company owns it. BMW owns it, right? But if you look on the inside, yes, there's BMW tech. But if you look on the inside, you can't tell really that there's BMW tech in it because it has its own personality, its own individuality. That's what I'm saying. With this, you don't know. You think like, hey, what, did BMW and Toyota merge? They didn't. They didn't. But yet, it's inside that car. You would think you're in a BMW. If you didn't look at the steering wheel and see that Toyota symbol, you would think you're in a BMW. And this is my problem. I feel that there's so many car companies out there that are so lazy today. Because back then, before we had all this technology in the car and computers and all that stuff, I feel that car companies more put effort into manufacturing their cars and making them good. And I feel that when the computer technology started coming in and I feel started taking over the cars in such a big way, and then now we got these stupid Teslas and these stupid electric cars, they kind of went away from, I think, quality, And now if you even look at Toyota's cars, a lot of their vehicles that they have that they produce now in 2023 and 2024, they're starting to get away from the V6 motors. And if you notice, a lot of their sports cars and a lot of cars they have, Toyotas has, they're four-cylinder engines. So they're going more towards the fuel saving aspects of it, because everybody's on this like, oh, well, the gas and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not one of those guys. You see what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of other things that are causing pollution besides cars. Cars are a very small, minute part of pollution. The bigger part of the pollution are not cars. I'm telling you that right now. They're not the cars. Cars and these automotive vehicles on the road, small portion of the pollution. Okay? But they're not going after what's actually causing the major pollution. They're coming after the cars. Ruin it for everybody else. I personally feel that they're ruining it. You know? They're ruining it. I don't want no stupid electric car. You know? I don't. And I just feel that we need to get back to basics. We need to get back to building cars that are fun to drive and fun to own. That's what I feel we need to get back instead of all this stupidness that they're doing right now. Complete stupidness. Okay? And I feel that once we can do that, we'll build a better quality car. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the tech. I mean, the tech makes the car heavy. You know what I mean? So for that reason, it's just going to just weigh the car down. But is the tech good? Yeah, it's good. It's nice. It's fancy. Oh, look, my screen can do this. My car can do that. Okay, great. Whatever. But we need to get back to making cars, making cars fun, making cars what they're supposed to be. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the tech, but I'm going to tell you straight. I'm not like these other guys who report on cars and will come with the fluff and will just go and report on a car and hop in the car and drive it for a few minutes. And then, oh, this car is great. This car is, no, I'm not that kind of dude that's going to blow smoke up on you. I'm what you call a New Yorker who is going to give it to you the truth, and I'm going to give it to you raw. You may not like what I got to say, but I'm going to tell you like it is. Okay? And I'm going to tell you, hey, you may not like what I say, but guess what? It is what it is. I'm going to tell you straight. I feel this car is shit. If I want a BMW, I'm going to buy a BMW. Like I said, I got a BMW. I got a 7 Series. I wanted a BMW. I bought a BMW. I'm not going to buy a Toyota to feel like I'm in a BMW with a BMW motor and BMW interior and tech. It's stupid. You know, like I said, a Toyota has their own motors. Granted, it might not have been an inline 6, but you have V6 motors you could have put in the car. You have V8 motors that you could have put in the Supra. Now, that would have been going away from the trend of your inline 6s. You know what I mean? It would have been completely left. But guess what? It would have been interesting. It would have been definitely interesting because you have a car. What is the car? It's the Lexus RCF GT3 that comes with a 5.4 V8 motor. Now, from what I've seen what this car is doing, it's a beast, man. It's an animal. It's an animal. Imagine that motor in the Supra. Just think about it. Just think about it. Considering they have that technology that they got from Lotus when they were owning or had a part of Lotus. Now, imagine you putting that in that car. Man, listen to me. The car's already light. It's already agile. And you putting that motor in it? Man, listen. There's nobody coming close to that Supra. Nobody. And then on top of that, it's still Toyota motor. They got it in their Lexus. Why you could put it in the Supra? You got the 3.5 V6. You could have put it in there. You got a 5.0 V8. You could have put it in there. Granted, it might not have been an inline 6, but it still would have been your motor. And guess what? It would have made that car real interesting. Because whatever tech you put in your Lexus, you could have put it in this car instead of putting BMW tech. That's my problem, I'm saying. You had options. Even if you did not want to design another inline 6, okay, you need to stay true to the brand and say, listen, we didn't want to design another inline 6, but we have other motors in our warehouse. Hey, we can go to our Lexus warehouse and get this motor. Hey, we can go to our Toyota warehouse and get this motor. And we put this motor in because we didn't want to design a separate motor just for this car. I would have understood. I'm sure a lot of fans would have understood that too. But how do you, I mean, you explain it by, that's what your explanation is, by putting a BMW motor in there? Come on, bro. Stop. I mean, that's as bad as a singer singing a song that becomes a hit and saying, yeah, I wrote the song, I produced the song. Meanwhile, it was somebody else that wrote that song. It was somebody else that produced it, but you're taking credit for something that's not even yours. It's not even in your own house. It just seems like a fake Toyota Supra. That's what it looks like to me. A fake Toyota Supra. Everything was nice until the BMW motor and the BMW interior. Like, what? Come on, bro. You gonna give me this fake ass car? Come on, man. Stop. Just stop. You know? I would never see Porsche with the 911s saying, you know what? We need this kind of motor for our Porsche 911, but we don't want to make it for the Porsche 911. We're gonna go to Honda, and we'll get a motor from Honda and put it in our 911 Porsche, and then put Honda interior and electronics and stuff in the 911. You know how stupid they would look, bro. Considering Porsche already made a name for themselves with the 911, you know how stupid they look doing that. They look real stupid because you've already said to the people already, yo, we are Toyota. We can do this, and we can do it the best. You see it first gen, second gen, third gen, fourth gen. You've shown us. You've proven it to us. So now for the fifth gen, you take the lazy route and be like, yeah, we're going to just do this shit right here, bro. So really, how much love, how much pride are you really taking in the Supra? You know what I mean? I don't really see the pride. I don't really see. Now, like I said, I'm going to say it again. The body you guys designed was nice. But the whole BMW motor and interior shit, bro, I don't get it, man. Like, where's your pride? This is a Toyota brand vehicle. Show me your pride in your motor. Show me your pride in your interior. BMW got pride, even though a lot of the shit they produce is shitty. You know, like their 7, like I told you, I got a 7 Series. Now, from like 2000 on, the 7 Series was real shit, bro. Real shit. Okay? Real shitty. But regardless of how shitty it is, it's all fucking BMW, bro. The motor, the interior, everything's all BMW. You see what I'm saying? It's all BMW. So all I'm saying is that if you're gonna produce something that's been MIA for years, and now you're gonna bring it back, something that's so popular, something that left such a big legacy on car enthusiasts and super lovers, bring something to the table that's respectable. Bring something to the table that everybody can say, you know what? I might not like it, but you know what? I'll get you the respects, bro. I'll give you guys props, man. You guys did another banger, bro. You guys did something that was like, you know what? You guys knocked it out of the park. Not this, man. Come on, man. I'm gonna go spend $50,000 or $60,000 on a fake Toyota Supra. That's what it is. That's, to me, I look at it as like a fake ass Toyota Supra, because inside is BMW, BMW iDrive, BMW door handles, BMW everything. And I'm like, what? BMW motor, bro. If you look at my video, again, if you look at my video, you're gonna see I break it down for you. I show you the BMW motor. I show you everything. I don't hide anything from you guys. Like I said, I'm from New York, and I tell you the straight. I tell you like it is. You may not like what I got to say, but at least you're going to say, you know what, Chris, you know, or you can say, hey, Salt, guess what? You keeping it real with me, Salt. You telling the truth. Like I said, I'm not like these other journalists or these other guys reporting on cars who will just come in and then hop in the car, show you the car for a few minutes or whatever, drive it for a few minutes, and then say, oh, man, this car is amazing. It's great. Nah, bro. Nah, that's not me, bro. It's not me. It's not me. I'm gonna tell you straight, like it is. The car shit, bro. I don't need to drive it to tell you shit, bro. I'm pretty sure the car drives nice. Okay, I'm not saying it doesn't drive nice. I'm pretty sure it does. All I'm saying is that show me Toyota Pride. Toyota Pride is not BMW motor under the hood or Mercedes motor under the hood. Okay, or Porsche motor under the hood or Subaru motor under the hood. That's not Toyota Pride. When you having Subaru motors in your car and you're having uh, uh, BMW motors in your car, Mercedes motors in your car, or Ford motors in your car, or Chevy motors in your car, where is your pride? This car was built on Toyota Pride. That's why people loved it, because they saw the passion in the Supra. And that's why people loved it, because they was like, yo, Toyota's making some real good shit right here, bro. The A70 Mach 3, the A80 Mach 4. That was some real Toyota Pride. Not this. Sorry, Toyota. Not this. I'm not giving you guys a pass. I'm going to call you guys out on this. Not this. Not this. Okay? Sorry, you might hate me for saying what I'm saying, but I got to tell you the truth. Okay? I got to tell you the truth. If Nissan did that with one of their Z's, I'll have to call them out too. You know, if you're going to give somebody something and you know it's been a fan favorite for years, bring something to the table that people are going to be like, yo, I'm feeling that. The only thing I can say good about this car is the body style. Amazing. That's it. That's all. That's as far as it goes, is the body. Sorry. I mean, I don't mean to insult anybody. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but I'm going to tell you straight like it is. The body is the only thing good on this car. That's it. The only thing good. I wish I could say something more. I wish I could say something better, but I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. You know, as I am, you're going to say, yeah, Salt told me the truth. He told me like it is. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you like it is. You know, I'm going to tell you exactly like it is. Sorry, Toyota. I love you guys, but you need to do better. You're charging a lot of money for the car for me to go and rock something with a BMW motor or a Toyota or BMW motor or a BMW interior. That's a lot of money to charge me to something that's posing as a Toyota. That's what I feel. Because the only thing you got is the body, really, and everything else, but the interior and everything in motor. I mean, come on, man. I get the whole inline six and why you wanted to do the inline six. I get that. But keep a Toyota, man. Even if it were your V6 motor or your V8, because you designed those motors for your Lexus, for your Toyota cars. You know what I mean? Even if you didn't want to design an inline six for that car, you have other motors. Like I said already, Ford Mustangs, generally people know them as 5.0 V8 motors when you see a Mustang. But over the years, Ford has put different kind of V8s and V6 motors in their Mustangs. Same thing goes for the Porsche 911s. They put different motors in that car. You see what I'm saying? Love them or hate them, the shit is what it is. You got to give Ford credit for what they've done. They kept it Ford. Whether you love the motor or hated the motor, whether you loved that Porsche motor or hated that Porsche motor, they kept it in-house. Even if it wasn't a motor that you generally know them for producing in that particular car. They kept it in-house, bro. So I give them credit for that. I give them credit for keeping it like that. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. I mean, I love you guys, but that's my opinion. That's my thoughts, my feelings on it. And hey, it is what it is. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, peace.